What is your name and which position are you running for?
My name is Solomon Miller. I'm a junior, math major, policy studies concentration, and I'm running for SGA president.
Why are you qualified for this position?
Well, for 3 years now, I've been closely following school policy and SGA in the administration. I'm co-editor of this fine S&B, and as part of that, and as a reporter for the S&B, I covered a lot of administrative policies, especially the hate crime response policy and the administration's response to hate crimes and bias-motivated incidents, also the strategic plan I've written about at length, and also SGA. I've also been on the SGA Reform Committee, SGA Election Board as a freshman, and I regularly attend Joint Board. Basically, I know how SGA works. I can maintain SGA. I know all the positions, and I also know school policy. I've actually been following school policy for longer than President Kington has. So one of the most important jobs of the SGA president is to be an advocate within the administration for student interests. Next year especially, Raynard Kington's been here long enough that he's going to start more aggressive policies. He's going to start actually implementing a lot of his ideas, and next year will be the defining year, I think, for his presidency. So I think it's very important that there's a student in the room who can really advocate for student policies, in part to advocate for student interests, but also so that SGA retains its respect as a voice on policy. I think we really need to institutionalize a lot of our ideals of such as self-governance, and I think the best way to do that is to teach students how to govern themselves by bringing them into policy discussions.
What do you most want to accomplish as president?
Well, I just talked to some of that. But in addition to what I mentioned, I think that increasing student involvement in policies, or in SGA and in campus life in general. Of course, every candidate says that. I actually have an idea to go with it, though. I want to add a cabinet position, Director of Communications, who would take some of the responsibilities of the administrative coordinator, but really focus on outreach to the student body, writing emails to the student body that instead of saying, you should care about the strategic plan, say, we're compiling a list of jobs on campus that will be available online for every student to know what jobs they can get. And we're thinking about bringing alumni in and letting students back for the last week of winter break to hear alumni give lectures about how they use their Grinnell education. This and more if you follow the strategic plan. And that difference right there, I think, will really elevate the discourse among students of what's going on and really increase the knowledge, which is important. I also think that that would give the administrative coordinator more time to give Joint Board some respect, because right now, Cabinet really doesn't work with Joint Board that much, and the decisions are made in Cabinet, and Joint Board are there, but they're not really in the room. And I think senators could know a lot more about the budget process, about what goes on with administrators, if Cabinet involved them more. So I'd like to get Cabinet much more involved in Joint Board and in the student body at large. Also, about some hot-button policy issues, I will advocate for harm reduction alcohol policies. I understand that the administration has other priorities and that they do need to comply with the law and they do need to protect their own liability, and that saving the college money from liability does actually help us also. But if that's what the administration wants to do, I'm not going to let them call it harm reduction. I'm going to make them sell their policies to the student body and really go out there and say, this is the alcohol policy we're considering for student groups that are traveling places or for whatever other reason. This is why we're doing it. This is how it helps you as students, and this is how it helps Grinnell as an institution that will be here for future students. And I think that's something they're not really doing now. They have their reasons, but they're making those decisions behind closed doors, so a lot of students are angry about it, and I want all of that to be out in the open. Again, as a representative of students, harm reduction is my first priority, and I will always bring up those options and those interests. I think the travel alcohol policy is more about liability and legality than about students' health, but I'll let the administration make their decisions on that.